Hey there. Today I'm going to talk to you about how trauma is killing your memories and the reason behind that, and how you can then work towards saving new memories. Maybe not recovering old ones, but that you can start today keeping your memories in your mind and not floating off somewhere. So stay tuned. If this is you, you are forgetful, you have a hard time concentrating, you have a hard time remembering childhood experiences or even what you did yesterday, like you can't remember what you wore yesterday, what you did yesterday. This is probably all related to trauma, especially if you've been able to identify trauma in your life. So, why is this? Let me explain. I'll kind of give you some situations and scenarios and explain this of how your brain is wired. This came up for me yesterday with a client who was very upset because she felt like childhood memories have just floated away. She has no recollection of them, and no one in her family can help her create a narrative of her childhood. This could be very troubling for many people. And I myself have experienced some of these things related to trauma and the inability to remember a lot of childhood experiences, particularly good experiences. You remember a lot of the bad things, and they're really like the big kahuna bad things that you remember, but you don't remember like little small things. And when you're around people who can recall their entire childhood, you just kind of want to punch them in the mouth and make them shut up. If that is you, I can really help you to understand why that is, and so that you don't want to hit anyone in the mouth in the future, because this is just how your brain is wired, and some things that you can do to help create new memories and maybe even to tie anchors to old memories. So, your brain is wired for danger. We have several parts of our brain that are responsible for different functions, right? So we know the amygdala is our emotion center. That is the part of the brain that gets affected widely with trauma, because what happens is that part that is your emotion center really starts saving danger. And the more things that are dangerous, the more that fills up. And so your emotion center isn't able to balance it all out with happy thoughts, happy memories, calming memories, soothing memories, or memories that you felt safe. So a lot of those things go missing because they're overpowered by things that are dangerous. And so your amygdala then overproduces this kind of FBI agent, if you will, that is always on the hunt for things that are dangerous. And so your brain is always scoping of what is to come. And anxiety widely is encompassed in this amygdala function and how it's developed in that way. And so if you're always that one of wondering who's going to do what, or can I plan out how we're going to go on this camping trip so that nothing goes wrong? How do I go to my family's house and make sure XYZ is marked off so that I feel better? If you're always kind of in the future thinking about things, this is because your amygdala has overdeveloped this danger zone. And so that happens very much so in trauma victims. Therefore, happy memories get deleted, safe memories get deleted. Anything that is not dangerous gets deleted as unimportant, because the important stuff is the danger or the things that are potentially going to harm or kill you. And so your brain overly develops that function. Well, your amygdala and your hippocampus are kind of meshed together. The amygdala holds the emotion to it, and the hippocampus holds the actual memory. And so they work together in creating these memories. And so oftentimes you may hear therapists or coaches talk about trauma being trapped in your body, or that you may not have a memory or language that goes along with an emotional response. And so I just had a client today describe some events that occur in her life and that she has this immediate rush of guilt. Well, this immediate rush of guilt that she doesn't understand where it came from or why it's approaching her, coming into her mind, is typically what we would think related to a trauma response. We haven't been able to identify the location of the response, why it's important to her, if it's attached to a memory, if there is language attached to it. We just know at this point she has a trauma response of guilt. And so sometimes it takes that bit of time going through therapy or coaching that can help you kind of uncover and piece these things together, because sometimes with trauma, the amygdala and the hippocampus aren't speaking very well to each other. The other part of the brain that gets affected is your prefrontal cortex. We know in childhood that this area of your brain doesn't truly develop completely until 25. Past research has shown 18, 21, that's where your legal ages come from for drinking, buying firearms, and all of that, because we believe that your prefrontal cortex can make sound decisions at those ages. And now we're finding that it's not fully online until 25. However, that really gets affected with trauma because that's the underdeveloped part of your brain, and the development of your brain gets switched to the amygdala and the hippocampus for protection. And so that becomes a little more underdeveloped than what we would like for it to be. So with the brain all explained to you and why that happens, and that it's not happening to you on purpose or that you're doing anything to contribute to it, it is just the way that your brain has learned how to develop because of what you've experienced. Your brain has now become like a vessel of protection for you because in childhood you did not have adult protection. So some things that you can do that can help. I've got 4 things for you. 4 things that you can do to help start developing a more cognizant brain and more here and now brain, one that can save memories, new memories, and maybe even start piecing together old memories, as well as reducing some of the anxiety around this brain center and really getting your brain to fully function and not just want to protect you from harm. The first thing is to learn meditation. You hear me talk a lot about meditation, and because meditation is the opposite action of anxiety. With trauma, we learn anxiety. Our brain is always on edge, trying to protect us from harm. Therefore, anxiety is developed. There's no way around that. Most people who have experienced trauma, there is a hypersensitive function in your brain that is often very anxiously related. So meditation does the opposite action. It goes in and manually teaches your brain calmness. So think about it's kind of like, I don't know why I'm thinking of a generator. You have a generator on and it's ready to give power out to whatever is plugged into it, and it's on standby. And that's kind of your brain and the anxiety. It's on standby waiting for something to be plugged in. The meditation is learning how to turn that generator off until there is something actually plugged into it. And so think of it in that way, is that the generator is always on, even though you don't have anything plugged into it. It's on a go system. But meditating helps you to turn that off and then to be triggered to turn on only if needed. And so meditation can really help in the sense of just calming down your nervous system. And that's the main thing of creating new memories and being able to store memories, is you've got to slow your nervous system down so that your amygdala isn't running in overtime and overpowering the hippocampus. You want the hippocampus to be able to jump in and say, "Ooh, that's a good one. Let me memorize that. Let me hold on to that." And there's no need for the amygdala to overpower and say, "Nope, that's not dangerous. I'm getting rid of it." You want to be able to allow the hippocampus to go in and save that thing. The second thing is to journal on a daily narrative. So most of the time I, will give an assignment to clients to journal. And most of the time it's journaling on something you're grateful for, something that you want to do, a goal. But this is very purposeful in creating a narrative of your day, because we know that when the brain thinks something and then we also write that thing down, we're more likely to memorize it. And also, then it helps you to say, what did I do Tuesday afternoon? I can go back to that journal entry and look at what I did Tuesday afternoon. You could be as descriptive as you want to be. You could say what time you woke up, what time you went to bed, what did you eat, what did you wear, what did you do that day? Did you work? How long did you work? Did you work from home? Did you work from the office? You can be as descriptive as you want to be, to where it helps you then start creating a memory. The importance of that, again, is the writing action, but then go back maybe on a weekly basis and read over the things that you've done all week, so that you can say, "Oh yeah, I forgot that I did this. Let me work on memorizing that." And so it's this repetition of what you've done so that your brain can then start memorizing these things. The third thing is attaching an emotion to that current situation. Oftentimes, because the amygdala overpowers the hippocampus, if there isn't a danger or an emotion attached to this memory, then if you can attach something to that memory, you're more likely to hold on to it. So it's being present, saying, "Oh, wow, I was really happy when I went to the movies with so and so and we watched this movie. It felt really good. This is what it felt like in my body." That's something that you can attach to and you can also journal about. The last and final thing is being in the now. Meditating and being in the now is so very important, because what we do when we're anxious because of the trauma is that we're always future thinking. We're always thinking about, what if this happens? What if that happens? The what ifs drive us insane. So if you be in the here and now, then you're more likely to be aware of the new memories you're creating, able to then save those memories and recall those memories. But if I'm watching a movie and I'm only worried about, I'm having a dinner party later and I'm worried if so and so is going to show up, or if so and so is going to act out, or whatever I'm concerned about, I'm less likely to memorize that movie or remember what happened in the movie or remember how I felt about the movie. And so being in the here and now really helps you to then consolidate and bring in those memories. Another thing that you can do, and this is just a bonus that came to my brain right now, is before you go to bed, consolidation is key. So when we go to sleep at night, our brains consolidate our memory. It's an action that's automatically done. We don't have to do anything extra to accomplish this. So if you want to lay down at night and before you go to bed, recall your day and the things that you did, whether you have to pull your journal out or not, but just remember, hey, I went to the market with Jane and I went to the movies with Joe and I did this and I did that, and oh, I was wearing my purple shirt today. And then you go to sleep. The last thing that you think about often is the thing that your brain consolidates. So those are my 4 tips of how to bring your brain current, make new memories, not be so consumed and overwhelmed because old memories have been removed. Once you start doing these things, there are also ways that you can start retrieving old memories or looking toward old memories. So I hope this was very helpful for you and that it was more organized than some of my videos that I do. But I want you to think about trauma in your brain. It is not a lost cause. You can recover some of these things and you can make things new from today. So if you like this video, please give me a like, subscribe, jump into my DMs, whatever platform that you see me on, say hey, and I will talk to you guys soon. Be well.